Hey there, guys, and what is up? We are here to talk about the anime Demon Slayer.
では忍び組みて始め。
So, first and foremost, welcome back if you have been here before, and welcome to the channel if you're new. So, we're here today. We're gonna give my thoughts and opinions basically on the anime Demon Slayer. So I got into Demon Slayer a little bit later. Strictly, I knew the hype around it when it first came, and I knew about it for a long time. I just waited for it to basically finish up before I started watching it, and then even after it finished up, it took me a couple months to finally get to it. So I got to it, finished it, and obviously, and now I'm here to come back with a review and talk about it. It's a little late now, but I know a lot of people are still interested in about it. You know, they like to, oh, you see anime like a few years back, you always going to go back and hear some, some fresh thoughts on it, things like this. So, anyways, that's what I'm doing, giving my thoughts and opinions on it, and so basically, let's just start. And it jumps pretty much. It is very very standard shonen anime. It's nothing really that sets it apart. Well, it is set apart, but it is like very standard. Like you can watch it, and if you know anything about shonen, you can within the first 5 6 minutes you can tell it's a shonen anime. But anyways, so oh, and let me say this again. Before I even got in, before I even watched the anime, I saw a lot of videos beforehand, just on accident, on like other social media of like the anime. So I knew a lot of events would happen before it happened, and how some fights would go. So yeah, it spoiled a little stuff for me, but it still did not take away from it when the whole time I watched it. Right, I may have known one little thing was gonna happen, but it did not take away anything from me as I watched it. So moving on, we so it started pretty simple, right? Tanjiro grew up, didn't even know about demons. And basically, it's your first episode, right? He family comes back, his family's gone, right? Taken out by a demon. His sister turns into a demon, and it was a bit of foreshadowing at that first episode, because obviously the old man was like, you better, just stay inside my house. It's getting late, whatever, So he knew something was up, and everyone by that point should have known. Well, this is not a good sign for his family. If he just told him to stay at his house, that means his family's gonna get messed up. But anyways, yeah, moving on. We know that basically Tanjiro didn't even know about demons, learned about demons after his family got attacked, and basically was um, sent off by Giyu to go train to become a demon slayer once he fell for him. So that's basically how it starts off. This isn't a review episode, so I won't talk too much about like the events, or try to not to talk much about the events, because this isn't like a review episode or something like that. But more so just how I feel about it. So that's just a recap. If you guys didn't remember how it started, right? So um, basically, it through each episode, right? Each episode, we basically got it was first to me. I felt like it was fast paced. Every episode, well, I wouldn't say fast paced. I feel like it really wasn't a minute wasted within like the first, like 10 episodes, right? Like one episode we talking about his family. Next episode he's going to be a demon slayer. The next episode he's going to no, he slashed a boulder. Final final selection. Got his sword. First mission. I mean, like I said, it just was like going. It was literally building up every episode, and it was not slowing down the pace. I really enjoy not having to not having like 5 episodes of training, 5 episodes of one thing. It was, and obviously it was no filler. Obviously, most newer animes kind of stay away from that stuff, but no filler, nothing like that, and pretty much straightforward. Every episode really felt really good pace to me. Like I feel like a lot was accomplished every episode, rather than some animes. Like that's one anime I talk about. If you guys may know about it, Hiru no Sora, I do reviews on that. That sometimes feels really slow paced at times, but this one here, Demon Slayer was just through the first episode through front to end, it was pretty much well paced, and it felt like not really a moment was wasted, except near the end. We'll get to that soon, but near the end, it was getting a little dragged on. Well, I guess I'll talk about it now since we're on pace now. We'll talk about it now, right? So, um, you know, like I said, first few episodes, like we just like literally every episode was something different, right? Every episode would probably start off where the last one left, and that was about it. It left off at this. Now we're going on something new, right? It left off about final selection. Now we're going on our first mission. It left off about Tanjiro killing a demon. Now he's finna get, you know, now he's finna finish final selection or whatever it was afterwards. It would just kind of recap, but usually we got a problem and a resolution. Basically, every episode was a problem. Then we got a solution dang near the end of it, and then the next episode, a new problem, another solution. And it was just like I said, really really fast pace, and it was make it really easy to stay into it, right? If you sometimes you get in animes and it really slows down, it makes it like yeah, but this one it was you could stay into it basically the whole way through because it was always something new every episode, or at least they would leave you at a cliffhanger that it was worth coming back to watch, right? So I was glad I did not watch this when I was waiting a week for a new episodes. That would have freaking sucked if I had to wait every week for a new episode because they left a lot of cliffhangers in some episodes. So yeah, it would have definitely sucked. Um, but yeah, so we're talking about pace. Let's near the end of it, right? So, after they fought the demons in the forest or on the mount, I can't remember the name of the mountain, but with the spider demons, right? The family of spider demons, and I say spider demons because they all had powers related to like a spider, like threads and things like that, and whether if I think they all had like threads, or if just not just like look like a spider, they had aspects that let them use spider type powers. Basically, they were like Spider Man. But anyways, um, yeah. So after they finished that, right, and that was one of the most longer arcs, right? But it was mainly because of so many demons they had to slay, right? It was like five or six of them, about five, six. I can't remember how many exactly demons it was. The mother that killed the father, that one that actually looked like a spider. Yeah, it was like five of them. All right, so we that one took like maybe like 4 or 5 episodes. Yeah, because it was so much going on, and it still was like I said, a lot of fast pace. But that was probably the biggest like arc we were stuck between for quite a minute. And moving on though, after that was when it really got slow, right? So we got to a point where Tanjiro, they were questioning why Tanjiro had a demon with him, and it felt that episode felt really slow. It felt pointless too. And it just that was just one of the like the worser episodes, and it just felt really slow and pointless. And then moving on, they got to training, which was good to see. He's like not like a I can't think off the top of my head right now a character that just gets the power out of nowhere. Like, should I say Ichigo? I think I want to go. I've never really seen Ichigo just like train. Besides, obviously before that Aizen fight, but um, yeah, I really can't think of what Ichigo does train. I guess I really just Natsu maybe from Fairy Tail. I can't think of no one that just gets like a power boost out of nowhere. But he train. He's like a Goku and like Naruto type, right? He trains for what he has and things like that, right? So he we it was glad to see that he just wasn't getting powered up out of nowhere, right? He actually went to go train, learn after that demon fight, and pretty much it took up like four of the last episodes, right? So and then they finally left off to go, and that's when it ended. But those last few episodes were a little bit slower paced because they weren't, they weren't even on demons anymore. They were just training, recovering, and things like that. Which they did a recovery episode earlier, but that took like one episode, and this one took like four of them. So it was different. It was nice. I know not always about the demons, I guess, but yeah. So that's how I feel about the pace, and we're gonna move on to the next topic. All right, so the next topic is gonna be the plot, right? So how do we feel about the plot? The plot was pretty darn great to me. It wasn't like it wasn't something like I said we just have never seen before. But I really enjoyed it, and it was like it wasn't terrible enough where you had to like I guess not watch it, but it was definitely to me it was worthy of watching, right? Um, so we have demons, we have demon slayers. A long history against each other. We have a young man, Tanjiro, who comes in. His family killed by a demon. His sister turned to a demon. So that's an interesting aspect. Now he has to take care of his demon sister or try to convert her back. That's nice to see, but like further on, as we gradually get through the story, he trained. Like I said, he really trained his butt off early on, right? But it seemed like after that, he didn't train for like. Well, I mean, yeah, he didn't train. Most characters don't after a certain point, but like, it seemed like he would get stronger without training for like 20 episodes went by, and he was able to kill demons way like just stronger than like the first demons he ever fought. It just kept getting strong. It was that's the one thing I liked but didn't like. I liked that he was like always able to overcome his challenges, but a lot of times it felt like you're basically saying the Tanjiro that finished like the Tanjiro that finished final selection is the same. No, no, not even that. You're saying that the moment Tanjiro finished, he sliced a boulder and learned those water breathing techniques. You're saying then he was as strong as he is 20 episodes later when he's fighting the spider demons, right? Because he hasn't done any extra training since then, so he has to be basically the same guy. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying from back then he's as strong as he is now, and if you think about the later Tanjiro, he would have been able to take out that demon, that first monster demon, like in 2 seconds compared to the early on. So it's a little weird there in the plot wise. It seems like a little plot holes there. How he's like getting stronger, but like is it like a? It's almost like a sand type thing. Like after every battle, he gets stronger, and I guess that makes sense. But it was never like obviously not stated or nothing. But but it just seems like after every battle, he gets like drastically stronger. And yeah, if that just it seems like a plot hole there. But I mean, I have no complaints about it. I like when the main character gets stronger without really having to watch like 1,000 episodes of training or anything like that. So it's nice to see that he was able to as like just from his basic training be able to go as far as he did before learning this new breathing technique, right? That's not really new, it's just something he just didn't do. um but yeah, so moving more about the plot, so just like other typical shonen anime, there's always a tier system, right? Of like this guy's strong, he has this title and this title, but pretty much that title was thrown completely out in like the wind after the demon arc, after the spider demon arc. I wish I knew the exact name of that arc, but after that spider demon arc, they pretty much threw them like whatever your ranking was didn't matter because the strongest demon slayers were Hashiromas, I think was the name of it, Hashiromas, something like that. And those like were the strongest demon slayers, and that wasn't on that initial tier list that they were talking about. There was like Hinote, that was like how they did their tier list. But these guys are just the strongest, and they're just called Hashiromas, right? So they just completely threw out the tier system. But it's very common in shonen animes, like they have a tier system. Like in Bleach, Ichigo, they had lieutenants, captains, um, head captain, and things like that. So it's common to see that. But yeah, it just seemed like their whole like system fell apart as soon as like the top strongest guys kind of showed up. So it 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 pretty much to me like I said, like, it not only just did it throw out the tier system out the like way, but it really just like made you lose a sense of made you lose your sense of tier system, right? So like we don't where does Tanjiro stack up to these Hashiromas, right? Is he near their level? And like I said, since the tier system is no longer there to really show us, where they're at in terms of strength, quote unquote. Even though we already know they're way beyond whatever like the beginner tier is. They're probably like, if we're being honest, if they actually follow the tier system, Zangetsu, Inosuke, and Tanjiro, they're probably maybe not Inosuke. Yeah, Inosuke is pretty good. I think they're probably at least like halfway up the system, whatever it was. I don't remember the names. Like it was like Kino and Hinote and stuff like that. But they're not basic. They're not at the bottom to me anymore. they're pretty close to those Hashirams to me. And that was another. I just felt like plot, right? So we don't even know like the tier system anymore, or where these guys fall at and their strengths. We don't know. We can't really gauge. And like I said, everyone else is fodder, right? If you're not a Hirashirama or Inosuke's Tanjiro or Zengetsu, basically you're basically fodder, right? You're just like one of those guys that wears like a black coat and I mean black. You know, they just wear the uniform and they get killed in the first 2 minutes of a battle. You know, you're like fodder. If you're, it seems like if you're not one of those guys, right? So it's hard to really actually gauge any like tier system because of that. It just seems like it was just thrown in there and it's kind of doesn't mean any much because everyone else is either fodder or you're a Hinosuke. That's as far as like I've gotten with it. Or you know, it's like that one girl that was trained by that butterfly Hinosuke. I forget her name. That the younger girl that they when she was she grew up poor and they her the two sisters rescued her. She's like pretty strong, but like she doesn't. They never gave her like a rank. You know, they never say you're at this level. Cause I know by now. I think Tanjiro and them are probably at her level now, but I don't think they never specifically stated if she was like anything on that tier list. They just said she was trained by Hashiramas. But anyways, yeah. And also with the plot, it teaches a lot of like moral things as well. It's not just about you know, they're demons. Just we kill them, right. Tanjiro, he does a lot of he feels for them, right. He knows they really can't help it, and they're not really creatures to hate. They're just, you know, they do evil, but they're, you know, it's not their fault, you know. So he knows that, feels for them. Unlike most of the Hashiramas, are have like a super deep hatred for demons, and it makes sense since they've been. If you're that strong, you've probably seen enough people died and like probably hate demons yourself. So yeah, but he feels for them to an extent, and you know basically it shows a lot of morals and characters throughout the story. And he's always like, you know, encouraging people. He's always nice. He's basically well, I'll make another video about Tanjiro specifically, but he's basically a pretty static character. He doesn't change much throughout the series, as most main characters really do. They don't really change, right? Has just like from the beginning of Naruto Shippuden, has he really changed at all besides getting stronger? Like his personality, he's pretty much the same Naruto from the beginning. He's gonna talk your head off. Goku's pretty much the same Goku since he was a kid. He hasn't changed at all. He'll get just from the fact that he gets serious when his friends get hurt and things like that. Other than that, he wants to fight. He just basically is the same Goku since we've always did known, right? So it's not changed much between these characters, and that's just how a common trend is with main characters. They don't really change much, especially in shonen anime. So yeah, it's nice to see he hasn't changed. He keeps his morals. We know he's a good guy. It's basically the same kid we've known since even before he became a demon slayer. So pretty much, pretty great point there. And moving on towards the villain slide of the plot. Yeah, the demons are getting stronger and stronger. But it's another thing I'm not liking is that, right? We haven't like show us Tanjiro like making like waste of some fodder demons, right? Show us some demons he can take out in 3 seconds. You know, every demon he go, it seems like every demon he goes up against is stronger than the last, right? It's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, we want to see him take out some you know kid demons. You know, we don't want him to always struggle every next battle. But yes, I get what is doing there, but every demon gets stronger and stronger. It seems as he fights them, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes we just want to see the MC. We want to see them flex on a weaker demon sometimes. So but there ain't nothing wrong with getting struggling every single fight. It ain't wrong with that, I guess. And sometimes too, I like, okay, right. So we knew Tanjiro just finished at the end of the last like few episodes. Tanjiro is going on a mission now. He just finished doing a little bit of extra training, which was being able to do the breathing technique constantly, like all day, every day, right? And he's been training to do that. And if for some reason it feels weird that Zangetsu and Inosuke caught up to him in like 2 seconds because before they left they all broke the same gourd, and that was weird how like it seemed like Tanjiro had been training like way before those two had started, and they caught up within like no time. It's just a little bit of another plot hole. But anyways, so sometimes I want to see how Tanjiro now compares to those demons he fought earlier, like that demon that was throwing the balls, and let me think of another demon he struggled with, or even some of the spider demons, like the father one when he couldn't even slice through him. Like how does he stack up now, right? Does he take out if I get more words out, does he take out those guys like fodder now? Does he just like is he like a Giyu to those guys? Is he how Giyu he just like walks in a battle and takes out a demon in like 2 seconds. Like he doesn't play around. Is that how Tanjiro would pretty much be against some of these demons he struggled with earlier? Is what I'm or even that demon that was able to flip the room around. Constantly. Would he be able to take that demon out in like 2 seconds now? Or like I just want to get a better gauge of like his power now. You know what I'm saying? I need. It never hurts to do that, but I get having a stronger demon each time does make sense as well. And another thing about I guess we can say I guess we can say the tone of the story, right? It's not, it's like, okay, yeah, we're talking about demons, we're talking about killing demons, we're talking about demons that are killing humans, eating humans, things like that. But it's not like, to me, a horror, anime or anything like that. It's really lighthearted, funny, and friendly. It's not really something I guess everyone could watch, but it's like it doesn't give off the normal like oh man scary demon vibes. It gives off like the humanoid demons, right? They have feeling. Well, yeah, they got feelings, and but they're just they have to eat on humans, so it's kind of a conflict there, but you don't really get like basically like a terrible terror every time you see the demons or anything like that. So it's like even though we're talking about like killing demons and demons killing humans and just demons in general, it's not as bad as the show may seem. If you just like heard the concept of the show, you probably wouldn't think of the show the way it actually is, right? It's pretty lighthearted, pretty funny, and it teaches good morals and things like that. So it's definitely the tone of it isn't as harsh as you would have probably expected before starting it, right? All right, let's talk about the big baddie himself, the main demon. I hope I'm saying this right. Muzin, I think is how at least it looks like it's pronounced Muzin. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Please don't hurt me. But that's how I'm just say it for now. Muzin, and you guys know I'm talking about the Michael Jackson looking guy. Not just, but yeah, he does kind of look like him a little bit. But we really early on. It was weird how Tanjiro knew his scent, so Tanjiro was able to find him in like 3 seconds. He blends in well with humans, obviously because he looks pretty much like one. Besides the fact he has demon eyes, which you probably wouldn't notice talking to the guy, but yeah, he is like extremely. We like really okay. The way they intentionally did this, right? They introduced him you know, and we didn't really gauge his strength, right? If you really thought about it, you would have thought, man, Tanjiro could take this guy out right now. If you're really thinking about it, and but in that, if they decided to fight right there, Tanjiro probably would have died in 2 seconds. And that's just the crazy thing about it. Is just that like it was just the circumstances that they met under that they obviously didn't fight and he didn't take him out, but we didn't really gauge his strength at the time. Muzan, I think we didn't gauge his strength, so we found out really later on just how powerful he really is, and that the fact was that if they had fought there, he would have literally killed Tanjiro in like 3.5 like milliseconds. So it was definitely a wake up call once we kind of saw his strength later on. Because at first we were like, man, this guy doesn't look that tough. It doesn't look that tough to me. But yeah, he's definitely strong. And obviously by the by the level of his subordinates, we know that he is super powerful, right? So let's kind of talk about those 12. It's they're called the 12 Kizuki, right? That's what they're called, Kizuki or 12 Demon Moon. We call them Demon Moons because it's a little easier. but they are. And I was a little confused about this at first, right? Because there are like it's the ones we've seen so far all say lower on their on their numbers, right? And I was confused. I was like, is there like 12 of them that are in the lower division, 12 in the upper division? But no, there are actually 12 total. Six of them are lower division, and six of them are the upper ones, right? So the six that are upper ones, as you if they said he's Muzan said at the end of it, they have not changed in like a century, right? The six strongest subordinates of his have not changed, in like a century or so, something like that. But the six lower ones are constantly changing, right? So, and I think he decided to he just took out the rest of them at the end, and he doesn't even want like the lower six anymore. Lower six moons. He just wants the upper six now. Besides that one he left alive to see what how far that would go, I guess. But other than that, yeah, he doesn't even care anymore about the lower ones because they just keep getting dying off and things like that. So we know that. Well, and if you okay, think about it like this, right? Now let me go back. Wait. Do I want to go that far back? All right, let's jump back really fast, right? So, I was saying, we talked about the power system a little earlier, rank tier system, ranking system, whatever you want to call it. But when you think about it, is Tanjiro at the level of a Hashirama, right? I hope I'm saying that right. But a Hashirama, right? Or just Hashirama. Is he at the level of one of those guys? Because he did take out a lower moon, right? He took out and it said all of the Hashiramas they've taken out at least a on one of the 12 moons, right? So he basically to me took out this spider even though he detached his head. I guess you could say he had the help of his sister, but the help of his sister only kept him alive, right? He would have still been able to take out that demon, but he probably would have died doing it. But at the same time, he still would have took him out himself, right? So does that he still cut his? I think would have been able to cut his neck because he detached his head. He just outsmarted him, but in terms of like being able to actually cut his head and get into there to do it, he was able to do that. So does that? I feel like he's at the level of a Hashirama in my opinion. Just thought about that, and I don't know how true that is, or if it was just dumb luck that he won, or what. If it was because his sister helped. I know she had the demon art where her blood was exploding, and I don't know if they helped him cut through the neck or if that was just an extra bonus or what. But I don't want to say that. But you can argue it wasn't. He didn't need the help of his sister to cut the neck because he said he saw the what's it called, finishing thread. I think is what he always says. He smelt the thread that he always does before he finishes off a demon. So it would have made sense if he was able to do it himself. All right, let's get into really quickly the side characters now. Right, every good anime really it is the best animes are always basically always have great side characters, right? Think of any great anime you've ever watched, and you can definitely name at least most of the side characters, or most of the side characters if had just as much of an impact as the main character, right? And this is definitely one of those series where the side characters do play a solid part, but it really has been mostly about Tanjiro, but the side characters are always and should be interesting, right? They should always be interesting and shouldn't just be there. Um, but that's to me how they all are. Is every side character who's met has been in a sense interesting to see how even even the demons have been interesting. Obviously all of his Tanjiro's friends have been interesting. It's like everyone. Nezuko has been interesting. I mean, just all the side characters have been pretty interesting. Especially, I wish I need to learn her name, but the girl with the butterfly jacket, she is interesting too. And basically, her whole just all the Hashiroms are interesting, and everything so far has been interesting. Was even who, okay, so we didn't pretty much talked about everything we liked about it, but I just want to mention this one weakness. Also back to side characters really quickly. Another great anime that does that really well is Bleach. Just want to point that out really quickly. Bleach has a really great side characters. But anyways, yeah. So one weakness I don't know is just like again, it's almost kind of related to the tier system again, but just the simple fact that it seems like all the other demon, like besides the Tanjiro's two friends, it seems like every other demon slayer that at least has survived has been the top tier guys, right? So well, the ones we've seen, right? We haven't really met any other ones except the ones we see or whatever, are always killed off really quickly, or whatever. But Tanjiro, basically, Tanjiro is basically meeting everyone so fast, progressing through the story so fast. It almost is. It's a good and bad thing, right? He met Muzan in like literally like what episode like 8 or something. I can't even remember. He met him so freaking fast. It's not even funny that it kind of almost takes out the like the terror of the guy, right? We don't even like usually most of the time before you even see the bad guy, meet the bad villain or whatever, it's a way farther down the road type deal. But he met him so fast off the bat. It's crazy, and also he literally jumped from regular just demon slayers around him to where he is now with Hashiramas around him, and literally that's it. No one else, anyone below these Hashirama guys are irrelevant, right? They're just fodder at this point. We don't really even care about no one but these guys here, right? So that immediately just kind of just takes out every other demon slayer because these are the strongest guys. So anyone else doesn't really matter, honestly, and that kind of takes out the, I guess, significance of the other demon slayers. So that's just kind of one thing I didn't really like is that they just kind of really limited the demon slayers in general to just like literally those nine, the Hashiramas and Tanjiro and his friends. That's like literally it. That like because everyone else is weaker than all of those guys. Everyone is basically fodder at this point, and they maybe mention some maybe maybe someone else that might be Tanjiro's level, but other than that, everyone else is pretty much below them, and that really limits the characters, right? So that right there kind of is one of the things I really didn't like, but it's all good. It's really no weaknesses in this anime. You should enjoy it if you watched it. It shouldn't be nothing you really hate too much about it. And I really enjoyed watching it, and I'm really glad I waited to watch it until I could just watch it all in one sitting, which I didn't do, but it was at least I didn't have to wait for a new episode every week. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Anyways, Real Diversity, we're out. Peace.